Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
And welcome back. We are going to talk about CBD today and the benefits and how it can make you and all of us feel so much better, both mentally and physically. And I feel that CBD has been around for a while, but so many of us don't really know the deep details about it. You know, we've heard that, hey, that can help me, but what do I pick? What do I choose? What dosage? Well, Jacob is here. Jacob Jeske is part of the Purple Nugget and very unique in terms of CBD, and we'll get with that. Jacob, how you doing today?
Hey, I'm feeling just fine, Steve. Thanks for having me today.
Did you have CBD already?
No, not yet today. No.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I take it for sleep occasionally, but
Sure.
What makes you really radically different is you grow it, which there are other companies that grow it as well and also have the products, but you do it hydroponically, which is completely different than anybody I've ever heard of. We talked about this last time, but real quick, just to recap, what are the real benefits of growing hemp hydroponically?
Just to kind of recap what we said, I don't want to get too deep in it all again. Check out the first episode for
Sure.
a real deep understanding of it. But by growing it hydroponically, typically the plant will utilize about 50% of its energy, utilizing the roots to like dig deeper and deeper in the soil to look for the nutrients in the water that it needs to grow. By just rapidly making the water available hydroponically within like the 10-gallon buckets that we use. The roots don't need to spend all that time and energy looking for the nutrients that it needs. It's just readily available. All that time and energy then is spent on the flower, creating the resin and the flowers that we then need to extract the resin from to make all of our products. So it just comes back with a more potent, bigger yield of a flower. And then also we control the light schedule, like I said, so we get more harvests than just a regular soil grower.
I find it fascinating, Jacob. So the two things we got working here, the light and then making the nutrients, the water, available 24/7 for the plants. What's more important, or is there anything more important, the light or the nutrients, the water?
It all has to happen in a happy little ecosystem, I'll tell you. There's a lot of temperatures, humidity, light too close, light too far, focusing on the PAR. PAR is like photosynthesis activity, which is like what allows the plant leaf to actually absorb the energy from the light that it needs. And so there's a lot that goes into it. You can make a lot of mistakes real fast. And so, you have to kind of know what you're doing. It's definitely a connoisseur way of growing. I think that by growing the hemp hydroponically, you just really do get a better product out of it. And all my clients stand behind it. That's what I have behind me is just how much they utilize it and how much it helps them. So
the average person, if I had hydroponically grown CBD product here and, let's say something grown in the field traditionally, would you notice a difference in terms of how well it works for you in terms of flavor, all of that? Would you notice a difference?
With flavor, I think you definitely notice a little bit of a difference just because the plant gets to absorb all the rights to create the right terpenes and like really kind of make it so that the resins really, I'm going to step back. The resins kind of look like these little balls on the end of a stick, and they really kind of like blossom bigger and bigger, and they get like really puffy kind of, and they swell. Swell is actually the word I should use. And they swell up with like the terpenes inside of it by having the right nutrients. Not all soil is the same as you can imagine. There's soil that has too much metal in it. So if it's got the wrong type of rotation going on in it, doesn't have the right nutrients in it. And so the plant will never find the right nutrients that it needs to be the biggest plant that it can. Like I said, by having these nutrients available for it at a readily, steadily 24-hour basis, it just allows the plant to grow to the most beautiful plant it can be.
I want to tell everybody your website is thepnug.com for the Purple Nuggets. So the letter P, NUG.com. If I were to go to your house right now, Jacob, and I looked around your yard, would I see a lot of flowers and things, plants growing? Are you that kind of that guy or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right now. So like when we first moved here, my wife got pregnant with my first son. And then as soon as Theodore came, she got pregnant again, like I think 6 months later. So we had kids kind of back to back. We didn't have a chance to really step into our gardening game, but this past weekend was nice enough that we started making our first raised garden beds. And so right now we're focusing on that. We live in a really kind of a pretty wilderness area here, so we got a lot of rabbits and deers that run through our yard. So we're trying to think of clever ways to not just have a raised buffet for the deer, and it's something that we can really pull away from. So yeah, but yeah, absolutely, you'll see flowers all over the place around here. This is gonna be a pretty good year for it. So
yeah, I was just wondering, I was just trying to get inside your head, you know, if you're, you know, deep into horticulture, that's your thing. I love plants. That's my thing. Ask me the name of a plant. It's rare that I'm going to be able to tell you that, but I can plant them. You know, I wouldn't say I have a green thumb, maybe a brown thumb. You know,
sure.
You know, but I think it's cool. That's why I find the hydroponic aspect of what you do pretty fascinating. So, in what you're growing, and I see you have the products there, which is super cool.
Yeah.
Why don't we pick one off the shelf and talk about one of those?
You know, I want to start with the flower. Now, this is hydroponically grown CBD that we pulled out from last year. We cure it for quite a long time, just to really make sure that it stays the potency of it. What you got to do is pretty much lower the humidity and the moisture content inside the bud. And the longer you cure it, say you don't want to cure it for like way too long, but the longer you go, the more moisture leaves out of it. I'm going to show you the difference here.
And I'd be curious to know how long you cure it. You know,
3 months is probably a prime time to cure it, and then that's kind of what I go for before I start putting it in my products, just because that's just the best way to do it.
Sure.
So there is a little bit of a longer process on it. And I'm sorry, I'm gonna put some gloves on here just because that's a smart way to go about this. It can get pretty sticky. Here we go. But I don't know if you can really see that.
Definitely. Yeah.
So like if you can see like all these little trichomes that are sticking off it, it's kind of like what's making it glisten a little bit. The shine. I don't know. Can you see that?
Yeah, very well.
So like that's all that resin that I was talking about. When you have like your typical like, I don't mean, if you don't have it done the right way, you're not going to get all those trichomes that are coming off of it. And the less percentage of trichomes, the less percentage of CBD, the less percent of like what CBD is actually going into your product. So that's why when you see products on the wall that say, you know, 1 gram of CBD or 1,000 milligrams of CBD is typically what you see. You know, not every gram of CBD is treated the same. I mean, that's just a gram of extracted resin from the flower. If your flower isn't top quality, you just get, you know what I mean? Your CBD, it can only be 30% of actual CBD inside that gram.
Yeah.
I mean, we're messing around 70, 80% CBD. So we're doing pretty well.
It's like, you know, the old phrase, garbage in, garbage out. You know,
exactly.
Interesting. How long does it take, Jacob, from, let's say, seed to what you were just showing us right there, that process?
So the full cycle, we have like a veg room, which is scheduled for 18/6, which is 18 lights on, 6 hours off. And then we have another room, which is the flower room, which is 12/12, 12 lights on, 12 lights off. From the first episode, I think people have a clear understanding of why we have to do that. We have a veg stage and a flower stage, just like the apples that we talked about before. You know, the apples are only going to produce apples in the fall because of they're a photoperiod type plants. So that's why we have that. So the answer to your question though is actually around 4 months. It's like 3 months typically in the flower room, but I can get a clone, which I use a snipping. Like I don't actually use seeds. Seeds are a great way to start, but you have to do sexing off of seeds. Like you can only get this flower from a female plant. You only get seeds from a male plant, and they'll just try to pollinate the female plants or just make them stop growing the flower, make it start producing seeds so that it can survive for the next year cycle. So sorry if I
this is you know what, that's why you do what you do.
So everything I deal with is absolute female. That's really important to a lot of people that need to know that. That's why we don't have any hermaphrodite plants. We have no male plants. And by cloning off of the female plants, we literally carry the genetics from that plant over and to the next plant. So that way I don't have to worry about any of that male or female stuff.
Interesting. Wow. Yeah. When it comes to the products that you have, I'm hearing a phone ringing. I don't know if it's on your end or my end.
Yours.
I don't know. Maybe we're getting a call, but I don't know.
Oh, that could be good. All
Yeah,
right.
let me take a look here. That's so funny. Um, yeah, I don't know. Interesting. All right. I don't know if that can be heard on our video there, but
Hey, doesn't sound
yep.
too bad. All
Yeah,
right.
no worries. Um, I've often heard that CBD, you have to have the right CBD when it comes to helping somebody sleep. And I saw somebody yesterday, a friend, and all we talked about was her sleep issues.
Yep.
And there was a point where she said that, yeah, believe it or not, you would never think, but the doctor prescribed Xanax for me. And just a little bit every once in a while. I'm like, you should be taking CBD. And just like everybody else, I'm like, I don't know what to take. I'm afraid, I
Yeah.
can't go to the doctor. So if anybody had a question about that, they could reach out to you and get that info, right?
Yeah, I hope so. I think so. Um, when it comes to like different types of CBD, like there's so much out there. There's a lot of stuff. Like when you look on the bottle and it says formulated, that's a big word that I stay away from. That probably means it wasn't planted or grown. It was formulated to act like CBD. And you gotta like stay away from like things like that. But I think it's kind of even harder to kind of like see the face of the guy behind the product like you get right now. I mean, it's really kind of hard to like really see how far back the product goes to make sure it's exactly what you need to be the CBD. So like, I'm glad that I was a little bit nervous when we started doing this actually, just because I'm like I don't know. I do a lot, and I guess I don't know. This is a big step for me too, but you need to know where your CBD comes from for sure in order to like really get the best benefits from it.
Yeah, and trial and error. And I found that out before we met. I
Yeah.
tried two different CBD products, different companies. Notice a radical difference with the second one. You never know what you're going to get. That's why somebody like you takes pride in it. You have the passion in it. It's local, it's family, and you know where it's coming from. From plant to product. That makes a big difference in the the quality of the product, and also I got questions. I want to talk to somebody. There's only so far you can do with frequently asked questions on a website. Sometimes they're very specific when it comes to stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I guess a little bit of the answer for my last question was from your first one. We're talking like if you see one package at the store and one right next to it, how can you tell the difference?
Right.
You really can't. You got to read into it. And sometimes these packages, they don't even have a lot of information on it. That's another thing that kind of discourages me. So as we're talking about like which ones should you look for, you should find ones that have all the information that they can put on that package because they're trying to tell you everything about what they are putting into it, I think. It's the companies that have like just like little hype words on it that I'm like, okay, where is this really from? What's
Right.
really in it? You know, when I went to my first retailer and got in there, he was like, I already have all the CBD products I need. Like, I don't need anything. I'm like, well, actually, you have all the same CBD products. Those are all soil based. Where's your hydroponically grown ones? And you couldn't show me. You couldn't show me any of them. I was like, well, here you go. You can put this one on a single shelf and say, here's all your soil based, here's all your hydroponically grown ones. And that was the only one you could put on that shelf. But I think he got the point of it that, there is a difference between all of these CBD companies. And that's why I'm glad to get to be the face of my company. Like I get to do it at all the farmers markets and answer
Sure.
all the questions. But to do it on such a large scale like this is just it's a step in the right direction. I'm glad I get to help people. And I hope that by answering these questions, it is.
Yeah, and I really, really, truly believe that that is what's holding people back, more people from trying CBD products because they're, I don't want to say afraid, but they're apprehensive about diving in because
Right.
they don't know about it. And where do they find that information out?
Right. Some great studies online. I mean, you really are gonna have to find kind of like your own like places that you trust. Like I really can't say I know everything. I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna say I know everything. I'm not gonna say I'm the best at everything in the world. I'm just good at what I do. But the studies that are being done by these like places in like Harvard or all like these major universities, I do trust that they know what they're testing for. I do trust the output that they're saying about these CBDs and all the great benefits that they're claiming it. And that's what I go off of. And I see that in my customers that try this product. So I mean, I guess I don't know when the time is going to turn for when the doctors are going to see that CBD or more modern type medicines like this can be useful. But you have to. I'm not going to go down that road either. Like I don't know
Yeah,
what's
I hear you.
what's in it, I'm not going to get into that.
You
My
know what?
mom's an actual, she's a nurse, and she's been one for quite a while. And I mean, she sees downsides to everything. I mean, anybody could get even Advil, Tylenol. You take too much of that, and it's not the best for you. So
I think you just nailed something there, and it was so refreshing. Um, like like your mom meeting somebody, a doctor who is pro CBD and actually suggests it. It's like very refreshing. Like, okay, you get it. Yes,
yeah,
medication, traditional meds have a place. There's no doubt about that, and they'll
sure.
never be fully replaced. But why take medication when you can take CBD? That's all natural. It's going to make you feel better. It's going to do the job, maybe even better. Unfortunately, not covered by insurance, but when you take a look at the prices on your website at thepnug.com, very affordable when you
Very
add up, like,
affordable.
extremely, especially that it's coming from, somebody that has the passion and you're growing it hydroponically.
Everybody says I need to raise my prices. I just don't think I need to. I'm doing well. I live comfortably. I'm not going to get into all that. Maybe one day I'll find a reason to, but right now
Right.
I'm doing well.
What do you find, Jacob, is the main reason that people come to you for CBD? Is it anxiety? What is it?
A lot of anxiety, like the anxiety can be definitely for oils, but sleep patterns, arthritis. Like I have like a really bad wrist, right? Just like it seems like it snaps a lot. So like I definitely, when it gets worse, I rub that on there and just it really helps it. I mean, you get to put
Ah,
it on there once, maybe a half hour, put it on again, and you'll have like relief up to like 2 days. I don't know what I know, it's like it has more to do with like the inflammation. I just don't know what's really wrong with my wrist or why it clicks like that. But I mean, I know once I put it on there, it definitely heals my wrist and my thumb.
uh, thank you for saying that. And now I know what I need to get because I never thought about that. I have a knee, and I work out and I jog. I took a little time off, got back into it this week, and haven't used the parts, and now my knees, again, every once in a while I feel a little like, wow, all right, it just hurts a little bit, or just an uncomfortable feeling. Never even thought. I take CBD for sleep. Never even thought about using that for a knee.
For the salve, it's great for knees. My grandma has the worst knees, and I hate to use her as a. Well, I love to use her as a reference actually because she loves my salve. She's like 85 years old and still walking around just fine. She's got like I think 2 new knees now. But she uses
Wow.
the cell for her knees. She also uses it for her feet. I know I've got clients that say that they have really bad, like they're walking around a lot, and I don't know, what the diagnosis is, but their feet just like really hurt at the end of the day. So they put my salve on their feet before they fall asleep. They said it really helps them. And so
Wow.
it's just a bunch of things that it does. I know it really helps with inflammation. I know inflammation is one of the major sources of why like these problems can happen in like your wrist and your feet because once you start swelling, I guess the blood flow just really can't, circulate and do what it needs to do to properly heal or take care of what it needs to take care of because of the inflammation. So because the CBD takes care of the inflammation, allows your body to kind of like react better and like heal what needs to be healed. So I don't have any like medical statements behind me, but it kind of feels like it helps your body naturally heal itself a little bit more.
Interesting.
Well, instead of like how Advil, like they'll just cover the problem like a band-aid. They don't exactly heal it. So with CBD, I know like they're finding it that instead of just covering the hole, it's actually helping the hole get filled, and it's actually like helping it heal. So
All right. So let's say somebody has a little bit of pain in a knee. How often would you use the salve?
for the salve and the knee, I'll just start off just doing I'll put it right here on my wrist. Like I said, I got a little bad. We'll treat it like this. Here's like half a teaspoon, a little bit on the finger side.
Gotcha.
Take that, roll it on there. I just rub it right where it hurts. I just put a direct topical on her. One of the things I know that we kind of were looking for is like the absorption rates. A lot of like lotions and like salves, like what nobody really likes, that greasy, long-lasting feeling. And it didn't really take us long actually to find the right recipe to get rid of that.
Hmm.
We just got rid of all the unnatural oils that a lot of the stuff that we found in these recipes. We also got rid of like all the alcohol in it, and I didn't put a timer on this. This stuff is a little bit thicker just because it's the salve, and as you can see, it's got the 2,000 milligrams in there. I won't try to do all that. Just take my word for it. It's on the website. It's got the 2,000 milligrams on it, and it
Ah.
comes in a 4-ounce jar. I think we got it going right now for $65, which is quite the steal. But you do that, and like I would say, see how it feels. But honestly, 20-25 minutes later, do that again. Just because once you do it again, it's just going to make sure that you're not going to have any problems with it. And that's all you really got to do.
And how long do you think it would last? Like, okay, let me give you an example. Let's say I'm going to work out tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. When would I put
Yeah.
it on, and how long would it last? Typically, everybody's different. Every situation is different. Yeah.
Oh, like I find like you'll get relief within like around 20 to 30 minutes. Like that's how fast I find you'll get the relief, but how long will it keep the pain away? Like up to like 24 to 48 hours, I find.
Wow.
And it really does. Seems to me it keeps the problem away for longer and longer.
Interesting. Wow. Thanks for suggesting that. Didn't even
Yeah,
think of it.
sure.
And here's the crazy thing. I bought CBD, I think it was a roll-on or something like that, for a friend that had a shoulder issue, but I
Yeah.
didn't think about my knee. It's a
Right.
different thing. And I guess that, they said it worked, but again, I don't know about the quality of that particular product. I know
Sure.
what we're dealing with there. We do have a call. I'm going to reach in. Hey, can you hear us?
Hi, yes.
Hi, who's this?
Hi, this is Miranda calling from Houston, Texas.
Miranda, welcome. We have Jacob with the Purple Nugget on. You got a CBD question?
Yes, so I'm on Seroquel for my anxiety, but I just feel like it's not doing what it's supposed to. I don't know if like they have a product that could be like, best effective for me to help my anxiety. Like if they have anything they recommend me to take.
Gotcha. So she's looking for something for anxiety relief.
Yeah, I heard
Yeah.
that. Yep. Well, first off, I think Texas is a beautiful state. I served with more people from Texas than any other state. And I got to tell you, those are some of the best people I've ever met. My second answer to that would be our oils. It's going to be just pretty much the same thing that I'm sure you're used to seeing. You would take it, you put it under your tongue for about 15 to 25 seconds, and you would swallow. But these right here, we have clients that swear this is what helps them. This is what they take for anxiety.
Okay.
And how often would you take that?
It depends on how bad your anxiety is, I suppose. Some clients would take it once in the morning.
I'm sorry, say again, Miranda?
I was just wondering, like, should I take it when like my anxiety comes on, like after like it wears off, I guess?
I'd probably prepare yourself. I'd probably just take it in the morning and see how that affects you throughout the day. And if you find that it didn't really do much, take it once in the morning and once in the afternoon. I think that would probably be something that you would feel a difference in once you started doing that. But just see how what triggers your anxiety and see how you feel once you hear those triggers and how you react to it. And it might take a couple days for you to actually get the full effect of it. I can't, just like I think the Xanax that you were taking, I think the doctor says you got to stay on it for a little bit to kind of let your body and your brain to kind of like know how to react to it. I imagine they said something like that. Yeah. CBD is kind of the same thing. You got to kind of let your body and your mind learn how to react to these triggers. And what you're going to find is that when these triggers happen, you're going to say and react, and then you're going to look back at that and be like, "Holy crap! I didn't act out. I thought logically, and everybody's happy with it, and I didn't, have my rise or my low of roller coasters that we typically find ourselves on when we're in these anxiety moments."
Right. Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Miranda, and good luck. And check out Jacob's website,
Thank you.
thepnug.com. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Bye. Yeah, we should tell everybody here too. It's not going to hurt you. So, to try it in the morning and then maybe try it later in the day. A lot of people just start their day, especially those with anxiety, with some kind of CBD. Yeah, I think that's one of the fears that people have. Like, oh, I'm going to do some harm. I might overdose on CBD. You'd have to take a lot, I would assume, to.
I'm pretty sure that there are still, there's never been a case of overdose on THC or CBD ever reported in any time in history. As far as I'm concerned, if I'm wrong, please send me a message and I will type that up and I'll eat those words. But
I hear you, and I'm a geek. I search it out. I look. I'm curious.
Yeah,
I go online.
I don't think there ever has been.
I don't think there's if anything, maybe and correct me if I'm wrong, I thought I heard this, that if you take way too much CBD, and if you did, you're doing it, that you could get a little anxious. And that's about it. That's what I heard. For me, I did take, the first time I took gummies for sleep, I think I took 50 milligrams out of the gate, and it wasn't any problem. It was just I was groggy the next day. I definitely took way too much. I should have started with 25 or something in that territory.
I don't do gummies. I know it's a real popular thing, and I'm sure a lot of people, might say why, but there's just too much sugar in them. There's just way too much sugar, and I don't know how that much sugar with something that's trying to help you sleep can really. I think I don't know. I think there's a better way to do it, and not only that, but there's people who are diabetic that can't really take the sugar like that.
Interesting point, Jacob. I just want to say that's an interesting point. I never put the correlation between the sugar, which could hype you up.
So much sugar, Steve. It's
really
ridiculously amount of sugar. And I tried doing it with less sugar, less CBD, but another problem that I found is that I couldn't put the amount of CBD that I would want to claim that's going to make a change by taking it in my gummies without it tasting horrible, because it's just the way it just, I don't know. I've tested other gummies and they don't seem to have a lot of CBD in it. They seem to have a lot of sugar in it. And so that's why I just don't see it really worth my time or my products. So
wow.
Stay away from it.
And the perception is that it's this little tiny gummy. How much sugar could possibly be in that little gummy?
You're surprised. I don't even know how many cups we put in there, but it was 4 cups of sugar for one batch. I'm serious.
Well, you know what? Thank you for sharing that. And I've got 2.5 left in the container that I had bought again from another company. Done. I'd rather just. I think people do gummies because it's almost like a treat. It's I'm going to treat myself and I'm going to help myself at the same time. But you're actually, it's going counterproductive if you're adding much sugar in it.
That's my consensus on it. But I'm sure other people believe other things, and everyone's perfectly okay to believe whatever they want.
Yeah, well, you've done the research and you tried to make it, and
and I successfully made them. I just the people that use them, the clients that I truly trust. I did it myself. I was hey, we sat down in a room and said, "What do you guys think about this? Is this something we really want to go? Are we going against the wind a little bit with this?"
Right.
And one of them, being diabetic, was Jake, I would never take them. I don't see why people take them. I've had to deal with sugar levels my whole entire life. He just had a complete background of sugar. And I'm you know what? We'll stay away from it. There's no reason. If you want gummies, there's enough companies out there that are doing them. You'll find them.
You've already convinced me.
Okay.
I'm tincture. I'm fine with that. That's okay.
Yeah.
I just want to get the job done. And actually, taking a tincture gets into your system faster anyway. So
it does.
That's the other part of it. Jacob, tell everybody. Remind them of your website, and I'm sure that you have some way on there that somebody can contact you, ask questions, right?
Absolutely. You can message me. I am pretty fast about messaging people back. So is my wife. We kind of take turns with it. But it's www.thepnug.com. THEPNUG.com.
Yeah, you guys do great stuff and so unique, and the passion comes out, and I got to get me some more.
Yeah. Hey, I'm going to send you some free stuff, Steve. So don't worry about it. I'll step you up there.
Yeah, it's I hope that more people realize, and thank you, that CBD is so beneficial, and thankfully there's people like you out there that can help us along the way. And I look forward to catching up again next time, Jacob.
All right, perfect. Thank you very much, Steve.
Thank you. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.